Good morning, bookie bashes, run line smashes, total hustlers, dog line crushes. This is the Who-Bangin Sports Talk channel, and this is Light It Up. It's Monday morning, it's a new week, new games, and best of all, we still have a World Series, and a meaningful one this year. Nationals versus Astros, 7-game series starting tomorrow. Let me tell you, these Nationals are rested, and they're waiting for the Astros, who had a little bit of a rougher time getting here. At that 5-game series against the Tampa Bay Rays, they had 6 games against the Yankees. So, in my opinion, but the Astros might be a little bit more tired. Cole pitched a little bit more, a few more games, and the Astros should be a good series. Big odds on the Astros, minus 200 right now, and a plus 180 on the Nationals. So there's some discussion in between the lines, but I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to this. So before we get started, let me bring in one of the best cappers I know, one of my friends, one of Who-Bangin's cornerstones, the OG low bagger, Nolly knows. Hey, Nolly, time to light it up.
What's going on, Dom?
Hey,
Pleasure
Nolly,
to be here once again.
Welcome to Monday. Welcome to a new week, Nolly.
Yeah, definitely a new week and a World Series to start it off, man. We got great World Series tomorrow, starting off the 115th Fall Classic, and I'm excited, man. I love baseball. I love postseason baseball, and I hope we're in for a good series. I think we are.
Yes, me too. So for those of you that don't know, Game 1 is tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Game 2 is Wednesday. Thursday is a travel day. Friday is a game at Washington. And then we'll see what happens. Saturday game at Washington, that will be Game 4. And then we'll see what happens. So it's the 2-3-2 series, like all the World Series have been. And like I said, we start tomorrow night, 8 o'clock in Houston. What are you thinking about this matchup, Dolly?
Oh man, there's a lot of things to look at. One of the big things that I look at is starting pitching, and I love it. You got six of the top 20 in ERA going in this World Series. That's the first time since 1945. And in 1945, there were only 16 teams as opposed to 30 now. So you can imagine how bigger of a feat it is now. And all those 6 guys are top 15 in wins above replacement. So that tells you a lot about this starting pitching. You got the Nats. Their ERA, their rotation was second in MLB, and the Houston was third. So for me, the under guy, I love this matchup. If I could get a good number, and that's what we need to talk about.
Yeah, we definitely will get into that. We'll definitely get into that. Before we even get into this series, let me just jump back a little bit to this last series, this Yankees-Astros. There's not much to talk about when it comes to the Nationals. They just took care of business. They've been 4 games, made it look easy. They've just been sitting back watching. But this Yankees-Astros series was a different series than I thought was going to end. I thought the Yankees was going to pull this out. I had a lot of future bets on the Yankee series, and unfortunately, they couldn't get us to a Game 7, so I could at least get a hedge. But what'd you think about the Yankees-Astros in general in that series?
I thought it was a pretty good series. There were some great games within that series. A lot of great things that happened. Some great defense, a lot of great pitching, and timely hitting. We saw a little bit of all of it. We got some home runs there that we were able to see, some clutch home runs from both sides. And I like the series. I know the Yankee fans are very disappointed. They had a lot of opportunities. They let a lot of guys out there on the bases. Well, I look at that both ways. That's a testament to the pitching on the other side. These guys, they step up. They're experienced. They know how to pitch in this big situation, and they're able to get the timely outs. And that distinguishes you from a good pitcher to a great pitcher. But I don't know what happened with these bats. Maybe they cooled off in the break that they had, and that's maybe a concern that we're seeing here with the Nationals, maybe, But I thought it was a great series. Once again, you saw Cole dominate. Verlander got touched up a little bit. And Greinke, you saw him. He's once again susceptible, but he was able to shut it down the second time around. I thought it was risky for them to try to do that a little bullpen day. I don't think a lot of people were too happy with that, but it worked out for
But it
Houston because
worked
now they
out.
have Cole. You know, now they got Cole game one, and it worked out. When they tied it up in that ninth, those fans, honestly, before
Unbelievable.
they even tied it up, the fans were on. They were scared. You know, you felt the tension, especially because the Yankees kept getting runners on, kept putting on that leadoff guy, and they couldn't get him across. And finally, in that ninth inning, they were able to tie it up. I was happy to see it, and Altuve keeps tearing it up, keeps doing what he
Unbelievable.
does in the postseason, and he's the one that had to bail out this team.
Again.
Him and I believe Brantley were the only ones that actually hit in this series. Everybody else was ice cold.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Exactly what you were talking about is that bullpen game is why Saturday morning they put the Yankees for the series at plus 410. Then it was 445. Some books had plus 500. And I just thought that was a great angle for any game six, not because it was the Yankees, just because of the situation. If we can get a game seven, that we have a lot of ways we could work with that bet. But the Yankees were just coming back and coming back, and I thought for sure once they won Friday night, which me and a few others were all over the Yankees. Only a few of us were all over the Yankees Friday night. Once they pulled that off, I thought they had that momentum back, and they were going to at least win that game six. For me, the Yankees handed the Astros that series. For me, the Yankees' inability to play fundamental baseball, to know what a damn hit and run is, to hit a fly ball in for an RBI is the difference to me in that series. It's why the Yankees lost and why they deserve to lose. And I'm, not as probably not a I'm not a Yankee fan to begin with, but things like this really, really irk me. The way they just swing for the fences every time, and in the end, that beat them. And what else beat them? They didn't want to spend the money this year on a pitcher. They didn't want. They could have got Cole at one point. They could have got Bumgarner if they wanted. They could have got. Well, they talked about Stroman. That wouldn't have been a good move. But there was a lot of pitchers they could have gotten. They stuck with their staff, which is now no one's a great starter in that staff. They're good, but they're not great. And they didn't want to spend the money. The Yankees did not want to spend the money. In the end, those two things to me is the reason why they're sitting home and watching this series. But so if I guess there's both angles way to look at it, you know. I can tell you something interesting about the Yankees. Just a little quick thing, which will make my Yankee friends and my family, which they're full. I have a family full of Yankee fans, by the way. Since 1919, the Yankees have been in at least a World Series in every decade, but this last 10 years. That to me is pretty amazing. Out of the last 18 out of the last 19 season, they have no World Series wins at all. In the last 10 years, they are the winningest regular season team. They spent over $2 billion on players over the last 10 years, and they have they don't even have an ALC win to for all that, to back all that up. That's pretty amazing, I thought.
No, definitely
That's pretty. That's
that's a story.
that's pretty
Yeah, they're a
crazy.
storied franchise over there.
Yeah. So for the last 10 years, I mean, I just thought that that $2 billion spent on players, and then them not wanting to spend that money this year, to me, for some reason, just clicked in me, and I just thought it was crazy. But anyhow, enough with the Yankees. Enough with all that. Time for the World Series breakdown. And we got tomorrow night. We got our two pitches, Scherzer against Cole. It should be a great matchup. These lines, they opened up at I think it was a 7 at first, what might have been the total, and I also think the first 5 might have been 3.5. I don't think it was ever 4. Am I correct, Nolly?
Yeah, I never saw a four
Yeah, it was 3.5,
anywhere.
right?
3.5 right
Yeah.
away. It
Well,
was
this morning
actually
we wake up, it's
even.
3. Yeah. Well, this
Yeah,
morning
it was even money
right. Well, this morning I
originally.
woke up to 3 minus 120, which I as much as I love these under first fives that me and you have been killing from the wild card games. I can't take a 3. Did you get lucky enough to jump on this yesterday with a 3.5?
I did get lucky enough, but not even at that. Like you see here, we pulled up the odds here. You see a 3.5 with bookmaker at minus 134. Now that's pushing it, you know. I was able to catch a 120, and even at that, I wasn't too happy about it.
Oh,
So I
I hear
took it
you.
a little bit lighter, you know.
Right.
Um, but I love these pitchers. I keep saying it over and over. We talked about Cole. He's on an unprecedented run right now. In his last 25 starts, he's 19-0, 1.59 ERA, 0.81 WHIP. Strikeouts are crazy through the roof, and the team is 16-0 in his last 16 starts. You know,
Yeah.
and in this playoffs, he's 3-0 with the 0.4 ERA. So once again, I expect the same thing. This is a huge stage, and I think it's harder for the batters to adjust. You know, they're gripping that bat a little bit tighter, whereas the pitchers they're just winding back and throwing a little bit harder. That's the way it goes, I feel. And I always say good pitching beats good hitting. And then on the other side, we got Scherzer. Yeah, everybody knows who he is. He was a little shaky down the stretch, so everybody started to doubt him a little bit. But I'm not forgetting who this guy is. I never will. He's a gamer. He knows how to pitch. He knows how to pitch in big situations. He's been in the postseason. He's pitched in the Game 4 of the World Series in 2012 with the Tigers. 6 inning pitch, 3 earned runs, and a loss to the Giants. But I just think that experience is going to pay off here. You know, he comes from the school of Verlander. He knows how to play the game on the mound. He knows how to hold back. And so I expect great starts from these guys. But when you're looking at this total and you're seeing a 3 out there, you're risky. Now you're not seeing it much value.
Right.
So I'm
Anything
looking
could
at this
happen.
game.
Right.
Yeah. So when I see the
Right.
16-0 with Cole, so I would definitely lean the Astros. But you're looking at the price that you're getting, and it's hard to take that for me. And then you look at the total, and I'm not seeing much value there. So the game's almost borderline unbettable at this
Yeah.
point for me. But you
But
know
it is
me,
Monday.
Dom.
But it is Monday, right?
It
It
is
could change.
Monday. That's
Be-
one point.
Right.
And not just that, you know me, I never give up on a game. So, I'll be looking live,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that might be the only way to look at this game because, when these totals start getting down to 6-3, I mean, that's just, well, 6.5 and 3. That's just, that's,
For,
for me, it almost makes you want to lean over, but I couldn't do that either, especially in the
I
game
think,
one
yeah.
like this with these guys. And
Yeah, I
arrested,
think,
and arrested, arrested. Both of them arrested. Cole
yeah.
pitched a little bit more, I guess, because but I don't think that his innings, the comparative in innings that they both pitched are pretty. They're not too far apart, and I'm leaning the Nationals. I'm trying to lean the Nationals in every way possible I can. And I did make a series bet on the Nationals at plus 185, but
I don't
I just think the Nationals have something about the Nationals that they just seem to have everything going for them this year. I don't know what it is, and I'll tell you, the only team that I think that could stop them is this Houston Astros. I thought if the Nationals played the Yankees, it would be an easy series for them to win. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a very very evenly matched game, even more so than I originally thought myself. But I do feel like Houston is slightly better, especially that bullpen. Excuse me. They use 7 relief pitchers on their bullpen day with the Yankees, and then you look at the Nationals. They really only use 2 guys out of the bullpen. They used Doolittle and Hudson. And
Right.
then recently they used Rainey out there. Maybe they could start using him. That's a rookie. But the coach doesn't trust anybody. He'll keep pulling Corbin out of the bullpen, it looks like. But I think that's going to be a factor here. I don't think you're going to be sweeping this Houston Astros team.
No,
I
no,
didn't
no,
think that.
no,
Of course, I didn't think that last series, but
no.
I especially don't think so now. So if you're going to win this game, your bullpen is going to have to come through, and that's a huge factor for me in this series. I keep saying that, but I keep saying that, and it hasn't come true, right? Like
Right.
that's my one concern. And
And,
then you look at
yeah.
these,
Go ahead.
you look at the comparisons in the bullpen ERAs. In the postseason, the Astros have a 4.08 ERA, so they haven't been all that impressive,
Uh huh.
you know. And then the Nationals is a 4.76 ERA, but
And
I
that was
always
when.
remember
And that was through the regular season, or you're talking
through
about
the
the
playoffs.
playoffs?
This is
Oh,
the
through the
playoffs.
playoffs. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
playoffs
the
only.
Nationals during the
And
regular season were almost at 6. their
Yeah.
ERA, the bullpen. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Even when I look at that 4.76,
Uh huh.
one game was 6 runs against the
Yes,
Dodgers
yes,
in one
yes.
inning.
Yeah,
That's a big thing that, I mean, like I could say take it out. I know you can't, but I'm gonna take that into at least into consideration, right? And when you look at the starting ERA for the Nationals, it's actually been better across the board. They got a 2.04 ERA from their starting pitchers in this postseason, whereas the Astros is 3.16. And they say, you listen to the trends, the team with the better starting rotation ERA over the season is going to win the series, and that's going to go to the Nationals.
the
And the
top four
Nationals have,
pitches now. That looks like the top four pitches the Nationals have are better than the top four pitches that the Astros have.
if you go four, definitely, because if you go 1-2, even on both sides, you're splitting hairs.
You're
You're
splitting
talking,
hairs. You got to
you
give
know what I
Cole.
mean? You're talking Scherzer,
What do you do? What do you do? Go
Scherzer,
Cole, Scherzer,
Strasburg.
Verlander? That yeah. Who's the top three? Who's the top three? Who's the
You're
four? How do you
splitting
list the
hairs.
four of those? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're splitting hairs with those guys, so I guess you do have to look deeper, when you go deeper, of course, you got to give it to it, especially when you're throwing Sanchez into the mix. That guy's been
Unbelievable.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He
You
just
know,
that's why
it's
baseball's
just the
so
way
good out of
they're
nowhere.
figuring it out, and the thing is, I love it. They're
X
working together.
factor.
They're trying to find different ways to win, and Rendon's red hot.
Uh,
I keep hearing this talk that he's going to be third in MVP, and I don't get it. To me, he's the MVP. Even speaking as a Dodger fan, you look at Bellinger; he's put up great numbers, but towards the end, he started to fall off. Whereas Rendon stayed consistent. And you look at his RBIs; his batting average is higher. He's got more RBIs with less home runs, meaning he's clutch. He knows he can get a hit when they need it, not when the bases are empty. And that's what you've seen with him. So that timely hitting is something that's going to be a huge factor when you go into this series. You look at the difference between these two ball clubs. The Nationals are hitting 300 with runners in scoring position, whereas the Astros are hitting 175.
yeah. Yes.
They've been bailed out by the long ball, and
Yeah.
we'll see if that's going to be keep happening here against this starting pitching of these Nationals. That's going to be a factor. But because of all these starting pitchers, I'm expecting really low runs. So if I get a couple runs early, I'm going to be looking to take something live. If you have a book that allows a live first five or a live first seven, that's more so the way I'm going to look to attack these games.
Right. Right. Right.
I'm not. I'm gonna try to avoid the full nine,
Yeah. Yeah.
just because it
I
is
hear
the
you.
World Series,
Yeah.
man.
I understand where you're coming from. I guess for me, I'm just gonna have to see the way that these lines go, and like you said, if the if the line stays where they are, for me it's a no play. But then we can always look at a live thing. I'll tell you, when you were talking about the Nationals and the Astros and the hitting, I did find some interesting things that I thought. Just going back to the championship series with the. Just going back to the series with the Cardinals, the Nationals and the Cardinals. Nationals scored 20 runs in that series in the 4 game sweep, where the Cardinals only had 6 runs. That's an unbelievable split there. The Cardinals, I don't know what happened to them. I know the Nationals pitching was lights out, but the Cardinals just seem to be just out of sorts. They just seem to have been done. Gas out. But in the Astros now with the Yankees, it's a close series. There were 22 runs scored for the Astros and 21 runs scored for the Yankees. I thought that was pretty interesting. Um, but something else that I was looking at was I like looking at like for the AL for the championship series. I was comparing the two teams, batting averages, things like that. Astros batting average was 179. The Nationals was 274. The slugging percentage, what I like to look at, was that the singles, doubles, triples, home runs. The Astros was 318. Nationals 418. So Nationals got have a little step up in statistically in a lot of hitting categories. I thought. Let's see. At bats, the Astros have played more games though. Also, they have 201 at bats in the ALCS, 22 runs, 36 hits, 27 walks, 54 strikeouts, 19 RBIs, 8 home runs. The Nationals 135 at bats, with 20 runs. So the Astros had 201 at bats with 22 runs. Nationals had 135 bats, had 20 runs, 37 hits, 12 home runs. So 44 strikeouts. So the Nationals really have a lot of advantages in a lot of different categories, and even with playing less games, that's kind of jumped out at me. What do you think about all that, Noli? Do they have the advantage in
Uh,
the hitting? Is my long-winded question.
To me, I mean, when you look at those numbers, I think it would suggest that. But the same thing that I mentioned to my father actually when I talked about the Yankees. Yeah, they looked great against the Twins,
Morning,
but
everybody.
it wasn't against this Houston Astros pitching, and
Right.
that's a big factor to
That's
me.
a big
It
factor.
matters.
Big factor.
So like numbers are only going to tell you certain things, but that's nothing against this Nationals team.
Right.
They are hot. They are coming in, and that's where you want to be. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball, and that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. These how evenly matched these teams are. From May 23rd, the Nationals were 19 and 31,
19
and
and
from
30.
that day
What
on,
was it? You cut out from it. It was 19 and what?
not 19 and 31
Yes.
on May
Yes.
23rd.
Right.
And from then on, they were 74 and 38.
Oh my
And that
goodness.
same stretch, the Astros were 73 and 37,
Right.
almost identical.
So
You know what I
the
mean?
Astros, that both teams. It just goes to show you. Like I say, I talk about it a lot when we're with Jimmy, betting with the bad guys and the low baggers. I talk about a lot how the second half in baseball to me is a completely different than the first half. That you almost have to not throw everything out, but you also got to take a grain of salt what happened in the first half because look. Now what your stats are saying was from May on, but even from look what they did after the All Star break, which is unbelievable, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. They went on a crazy run, and that's what you need to do in the postseason. Baseball's a game of runs, well, I guess most sports, right? But
Right.
in baseball, you need to get hot. When you're hitting and everything starts clicking, everybody talks about that strategy when you're taking on the regular season. You ride the hot teams, fade the cold teams, right? So in this situation, the hot team to me is the Nationals, the way they're coming in. So when you look at that strategy, you're going to ride the Nationals. But I keep going back to that they haven't faced this Astros pitching, and to me, that's a big difference. And
That's
this
definitely a
Astros
big
team,
difference.
they know how to win in this postseason, and to me, they're the better team. So it's gonna be a tough task, but I think it's a tough game. They're pretty
Well, when you
evenly
say the
matched, like
Astros
I
pitching,
said. They're
when you talk about Astros pitching, they're great pitching. You're really only talking about two guys, though, right?
Well, I'm also talking about the bullpen because they can go to the bullpen. They got seven relievers that they could rely on,
Yeah, Peacock pitched
and
pretty good out of the pen that last game there.
so
I didn't think he was going to
so
pitch so
late
great.
if these pitchers can get late because I mean yeah I'm still not completely giving up on Greinke. He had a great start the second time out, and I
Without a
still
doubt.
think he's a great starter.
Without a doubt.
Nothing as dominant as these other two, but I'm not just gonna
Yes.
give up on him.
No,
I
no,
guess
no,
the big
no.
question. I think a big thing is going to be Corbin. I think because these Astros can hit lefties, and
Yes.
if he gets hit, that's going to be huge for these Astros. That's something that I was thinking about. That's something that I'm worried about. I'm a Corbin fan personally. I think he's a great pitcher. Kind of undervalued. Nobody heard of him over
Yeah,
there in the
underrated
Diamondbacks
pitcher for
organization.
sure. Yes.
Yeah, over there hiding in Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
witness protection over there. But he's out now. He's over here with Nationals, and he's in the World Series. They acquired him on free agency, and he's going to be big, I think. So I don't know how they're going to be using them. And the big thing is that the Astros don't have a lefty coming out of their bullpen. That could be an issue.
That
You're
is.
going to face
That's yeah.
guys. You got to face guys like Soto. You don't have a guy to face him. That might come to hurt you because he kills righties. The youngster can really hit, and I'm really excited about this series, man. I'm excited.
Wow. So, when you were talking about the pitching and stuff, and Corbin is like an X factor because he could be used, either out of the bullpen. He could be used as a starter. He's a tricky guy. I guess they're going to have to use him depending on how the series is going. If the Nationals could jump up, to a 2-0 lead, let's say, for instance, that changes the whole complexion of how they're going to use Corbin and stuff. If they, I would think, So he's definitely an X factor, man. And Sanchez, he's a guy who we none of us thought was going to be such a gamer in the playoffs, and he really has shown some heart, and he's as good as any of the Astros pitchers. Also, besides the top two, you get down to Corbin and Sanchez. I mean, I guess Corbin's better overall, but in these playoffs, geez, it's a tough decision which one's playing better.
Well, Anibal Sanchez has always pitched well in the postseason. He's done really well, but that was earlier in his career. And to do what he's doing now, I think it is amazing because he's reinvented himself. He's throwing a lot slower, having to hit his spots is something that we've talked about in the past, and it is amazing to watch. I think it's great. I love it. Not overpowering the guy with a crazy fastball, outsmarting him, and showing the chess match that is between the pitcher and the batter. Something that I look at pitch to pitch that the average baseball fan might not even look at. But the guy tricks him on a certain off speed pitch on a 2-0. I get excited. I'm like, ooh, look at that. And I love that stuff. So when Sanchez is on the mound, it's art, man. I love it.
Wow, wow, wow! I tell you, I agree, Nolly. I'm with you 100% on that. I'm with you 100%. How do you feel about this series? Do you feel we're looking at a 6-7 game series? I mean, the way I expect that me and you really think these teams are. I know I do. They're pretty evenly matched in a lot of ways. There's arguments on both sides. No one could. There's no definitive saying that this guy is better than this guy. Even if you go position by position, it's pretty balanced. So are you looking to at a 6-game, 7-game series, or are you looking at something crazy like we're seeing that if the series ends in 4 games, it's a plus 550? I don't think that's happening. What about you?
No, I think that's crazy to be honest.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we're talking about here, when looking at these teams and looking deeper across the regular season, because we can't just look at the postseason. That's a small sample size. But when I look at the whole season and the postseason, these teams are very evenly matched. And to me, I think that would be crazy to try to go with a 4 games.
yeah.
I'm thinking six or seven. I think that's why you're seeing it. We go down to the 5 games. We're seeing the value decrease immediately, and because they're seeing it, more so like a 6 or 7 game series as well.
Right,
And
right, right. So that five
it would
games is
be
two
very hard
fifty.
for.
Wow, that's a big jump. That's a plus 300 jump from the 4 games to the 5 games, plus 250. I
Yeah,
agree.
that's a big
Go ahead.
jump. So to me, I think to me, these teams are too evenly matched, and the one side with the Nationals is coming in so hot, the way the pitching is, it's a battle of contrast in certain ways. But both teams have great hitting and great pitching, and it should be a great matchup. So I don't. There's no way to me that I see that it should be a 4 game or even
Right,
5 game.
right,
Especially you
right,
see
right.
the way the Yankees see that's more so. If I'd take maybe that, I'd be
Six
more
games
so
plus
willing to take a
200.
6. Yeah, I'd more
Yeah,
so be willing to take that.
yeah.
It's
That's
not
interesting.
it's not a bigger pay, it's not as big a payout, you know what I mean? But I'd
But
probably sprinkle something on that,
yeah, I mean
And the thing is,
that is interesting.
I,
Very
I
interesting.
don't know.
Because you know why now? Because if you're gonna take if you're gonna take if you like the Astros, but you don't want to pay a minus 200, you take something like a 5 or a 6 game bet instead, or both. That to me would be make more sense than laying the minus 210. And even for me, I took the Nationals at plus 185 for the series. But geez, that's 6 game. Just to bet the 6 game, you don't have to pick a winner. Is plus 200. So that 6 game bet is a pretty interesting bet. Not a bad bet at all. Not a bad bet at all.
I
But
might take a shot at it,
yeah, it's
just
not bad
because
at
I don't
all.
have any action at all right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah.
I might take a little shot at that. Go for it to go 6. Yeah, I like the. I mean, it could go even 7. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be happy to see 7 games in the World Series. I love it.
Right,
You know
right.
those
Oh,
7 game
there you
series.
go. So the
getting the
6
same
and the
exact
7 games
price.
are both
So they're obviously
plus
thinking what we're
200.
thinking.
I'm
They're
sorry,
obviously
what's
thinking
that,
the
Nolly?
same way, right? They're
Yeah,
obviously thinking the same way we are, right? So either 6 or 7 games,
right,
and
right.
that's more so the way I see it playing out as well. I'd be surprised
Yeah,
any other way, and I'd actually be disappointed if I see it any other way. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
want to
me
see
too.
these guys go at it, man.
Yeah, love to see 7 games. Love to end our baseball season off with a nice 7 game World Series here. I know we have a bunch of friends that have futures on the Nationals from a while ago, from in September, some from August. So I know our friend Nutflush Allen has a couple, a 40-1 and a 50-1 or something like that, or a 30-1 and a 40-1. Um, some futures that have, he's hit the championship. He hit the division. I think he went with the Nationals right across the board, I believe. But I know he has some for the World Series. And I know our friend Joey Work, who was on the lounge with us on Friday night, has a plus 1,800 National Series ticket in his pocket also. So I'll definitely be rooting for the Nationals. I also bet the Nationals at the plus 185. And I guess we'll see what happens. As far as game one, I don't really have a pick for game one. I guess we're gonna have to see how the odds are. I'll always put it out on Twitter at Dom541, and that'll be tomorrow sometime. Let's see if the lines change. Let's see if what
Well,
happens. What about you, Noli? Do you have anything on the game tomorrow, or you just right now waiting for the live?
no, I do have the 3.5. I did pay the
Yes, I
juice at
forgot.
120.
Right.
But as far as right now, I'm not, I wouldn't say to jump on anything right now. But one thing that I was kind of like listening to ourselves speak, we're talking about how evenly matched these teams are. So in this first game, getting a plus money with the Nationals, would it be a good move to take them?
Was it
You
plus
know,
170 now? What do you
me
got?
personally, it's just very difficult for me to go against Cole, and I keep saying that. But at this point, we keep talking about how evenly matched they are, and you can get plus money. You
Ah,
know, I don't
now.
know what that lined.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing up on the screen from the SBR odds. Um, we're still seeing a money.
Based on the number, I'm just saying,
Wow,
speaking based on the number, what we're seeing, you're getting plus 170, plus 180
one
to go
seventy
with the
four plus one
Nationals.
eighty one.
Do we
Yeah,
think it's that I don't think that when you equate those numbers that's the percentage that Houston's going to win that game. It's closer than that, I think. So I would say that there is value taking the Nationals, but me personally, I just can't, So
yeah,
I'm gonna stick to my first five with the 3.5. If you can get that 3.5, get it. If not, I'd say hold off and let's try to play something live. Let's hope we get something early and we can take something live.
yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. With me having a series bet, I don't think there's any reason for me to take them in the game one anyhow. That just let's for me. I just hope they win the game
Yeah.
and start it out like that. So that's great. All right, Noli. So before we get out of here, is there anything else you want to touch on, or maybe we could get back here and do something at the end of the week. Let a couple games go by. Wednesday is an off day, so that'd be good. Let's see if we can try to do another show on Wednesday. We'll have 2 games in the book, and we'll have a feeling on how the series is going, and that'll be the day before they open up in DC. So that might be a good time to hit the lighted up show again. What do you think?
I'm ready when you are, Dom. I'll be ready, man. I'll be watching these games closely, and I'm excited. I keep saying it over and over, and I'm ready to go, man. Let's play ball, man.
What's that
Uh,
Twitter handle you're at Noli?
at Noli 562.
Oh, that's great, Noli. All right, man. So listen, if everybody can retweet the show, if everybody could, keep following us, keep watching Who-Bangin talk show channel. There's a lot of things coming up. We have some interesting things in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. You can always find us. We're always bouncing around between betting with the bag and our pal Jimmy the Bag, and with the DJ and Big Ragu and Trot Wham and everybody at Who Bangin Sports. So for now, this is Dom Ricci This is Nolly Knows, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you Wednesday. Light it up.
Light it up.